house to be a ruler and to have a loving wife and wonderful children and being surrounded by friends who are always thinking of your welfare. Who doesn't want such a life? These are very close to the heart of every person. Hridi Sprishaha. And Bharat Maharaj had all these things. Peak of his youth. He was not suffering from any disease. He was not depressed. He did not have any mental anxiety, no tension, no opposition, no activists going around and doing dharnas every day against him, no media campaign against him, nothing. He was enjoying life. Can you imagine? This is enviable position. And in the peak of his enviable position, what did Bharat Maharaj do? Dustyajan. These are very difficult to give up. What did he do? Jahau yuvaiva malavad. He gave up all those things. He gave up all those things. And he became a sannyasi. So how did he give up? He was crying, what to do? You know, my country, my children, my wife, my friends, my citizens, I have to give up them. I have to give them up. Oh, it is so painful to the heart. Did he give it up like that? Yuvaiva, in his prime of his youth, Jahau Malavad. Just like one goes to the toilet and one finishes one's work and gets out. After that, do we think, oh my God, what to do? I had to give up my stool. Do we think? We don't think like that, right? The moment we are waiting, when will I get out of the toilet? Out of this place. Exactly in the same way, Bharat Maharaj came out of his family life, came out of his position of being the unrivaled emperor of the world. When he came out, he was thinking, gone, finished, over. Why? Uttama shloka lalasaha. What was the reason? How could somebody give up something which is so hridisprishaha, yodustyajan, so difficult to give up? Why did Bharat Maharaj give it up? Like this, like malavad, like something which is very dirty, he gave it up. Why? Because uttama shloka. He had become greedy after Krishna. So this is Bharat Maharaj's activity. And Arshabhasteha Rajarsher Mahatmanaha. This activity of the son of Rishabhadev, who is Bharat Maharaj, Manasapi Mahatmanaha. Because of this he became a Mahatma. Manasapi Nanuvartmar Hati Nripaha. No other king has been able to follow this path of Bharat Maharaj, even in the mind. Means, no other king, even though he may have ruled over the whole earth, he can never dream of following the path of Bharat Maharaj, giving up his kingdom in the prime of his youth. Nobody can even dream of this. So therefore, Bharat Maharaj is glorified and his activity is described in the Bhagavatam. It is compared, Makshikeva Garutmataha. Just like if anybody thinks of following the path of Bharat Maharaj, thinking that I am a very powerful king, ruler over the whole world, I become more powerful than Bharat Maharaj, I will also give up everything and follow in the path of Bharat Maharaj. Not possible. Because if somebody aspires to do like that, it is like Makshikeva. It is like a fly, a mosquito or a fly trying to fly along the path of Garuda. Makshikeva Garutmataha. Garuda can fly all the way up to the sun. He can enter the sun planet also. He will not be affected. If a fly or a mosquito tries to fly on the path of Garuda, what will happen? Will he reach the sun? In fact, whenever there are apartments, blocks which are built, people try to buy flats which are in the 8th floor, 9th floor, 10th floor, etc. You know why? Reason? Because they say after the 7th floor there are no mosquitoes. Mosquitoes cannot rise beyond the 7th floor. So Garuda can go up to the sun. Mosquito cannot even dream of going beyond the 7th floor. Where is the question of following the path of Garuda? So it is like this. The path taken by Bharat Maharaj is impossible to be followed even in dreams by no matter how powerful a person may become as a ruler of this world. So therefore, Bharat Maharaj is so glorified and therefore this world came to be known as Bharatavarsha. So that's the reason, not because he was simply a powerful ruler and therefore this world came to be known as Bharatavarsha. And in fact, the path which is followed by Bharat Maharaj, by the very example given, Makshikeva Garutmataha, like nobody can imitate Bharat Maharaj. Trying to imitate it will be like a fly trying to imitate Garuda. By this very example, we can understand that this is a very, very rare position. And although this is a very, very rare position, all of us sitting are here, all of us sitting over here, we are all following that path. Especially devotees who have joined the temple, you all see, just like Makshikeva Garutmataha, we are also actually like flies, but we are trying to follow the path of Garuda. It is like that. Why? Because in this material world, everybody is running after career, after a job, money, having one's own startup, making one's business, building one's career, family. What have we all done? We have given up all that. We are no more interested in those activities. Even those who become grihasthas and they follow the Krishna consciousness, even they lose the interest in these activities. These things do not become the prime objectives of life. Whatever money comes of its own accord, fine. Whatever facility we are getting, we are satisfied with that. And when it comes to temple devotees, we have completely given up all these things. There is no question of these engaging in these activities of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Deha Dharma, we have given up. How? Where did we get that strength? What the Bhagavatam is saying, that the path followed by Bharat Maharaj is like that of Garuda, and even great kings, Nripaha, Manasapi, even their mind, they cannot even dream of taking up this. How are we engaged in that path? How are we following that path? Because we are catching on to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. If we hold on to the lotus feet of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, then what happens is, that path back to Godhead, which was taken by Bharat Maharaj, which is extremely difficult to be followed, becomes as easy as anything. So all that we have to do is simply stick to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and follow his instructions, and then we can also become one of the very few rare people who become attached to the piyusha, to the nectar of tad gunavada, of the descriptions of the pastimes and the qualities and the form and the various instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. In fact, the description given here is Parasparam Twadgunavada Sidhu Piyusha. Describing the wonderful pastimes, form, qualities, etc. of Krishna is actually nectarian. So sweet it is. Actually, even today's verse also, such a beautiful nectarian verse it is. The Bhagavatam is full of such nectarian verses. So it says, Tvad gunavada sidhu piyusha. That nectar of hearing and glorifying the pastimes and activities of Krishna, it is actually very intoxicating also. Sidhu means intoxicant. How it is an intoxicant? If you look at anybody who is a drunkard, he cannot live without that intoxicant. If you see, he will be drunk, and in the evening he will become drunk. Morning he gets up, he will again be thinking, when will I get to drink? He will be waiting for the opportunity to drink. And when he is drunk, he has no connection with the reality. He will be blabbering something, he will be doing something totally senseless he will become. Isn't it? This is how drunkards are. Now, when a person starts hearing about the wonderful, glorious activities and pastimes and qualities of Krishna, what happens is he also becomes intoxicated. Intoxicated in what way? He will lose touch with what people consider as reality in this material world. He will become disconnected from Deha Dharma. Deha Dharma will become insignificant for him. What for other people, for the outside people, what is the primary thing in life? That becomes totally negligible for him. And that is why when we take up Krishna consciousness, when we start chanting Hare Krishna, we start reading Prabhupada's books, we start getting drawn towards it. We cannot help ourselves. We'll keep increasing our number of rounds of chanting. We'll keep reading one book after another of Prabhupada. And all around us, our friends, our relatives will all be looking at us. What is this fellow doing? Why is he chanting? Why is he reading all these books? After 60 years, after retirement, you can think of reading all this tapajana, all these things. After retirement, you can do all this. At 20 years, what are you doing all this? What's wrong with you? People cannot understand. They cannot relate. What happened to this guy? Just like a drunkard, only a drunkard can know the pleasure of drinking. If you have never tasted alcohol in your life, you go and tell a drunkard, why are you drinking like this? What he will understand? First you take one sip, then you will know. That will be his response. Similarly, for the people who have not tasted the nectar of Krishna's pastimes and his qualities, what will they understand? You can tell them any amount. It's so beautiful, it's so sweet, it's so nectarian, you can tell them. But it's like telling somebody who has never tasted honey. You show him a bottle of honey and tell him, honey is so sweet. And that man goes on trying licking the bottle from outside. Will he be able to ever taste the sweetness of honey? That sweetness of honey you can taste only when you take one spoon, take that honey and put it in your mouth. So similarly, until and unless we hear about Krishna's pastimes and his qualities from the lotus feet of a pure devotee, which is Srila Prabhupada, you cannot taste that nectar. You see, we all have heard about Krishna, about his various pastimes, all this about Vishnu, Narayana, all these things we have heard. Especially in India, it's very common when we are growing up, from our grandparents, from our parents, we keep hearing all these things. But did we ever feel intoxicated with that? We never felt. Like so many other things about Lord Shiva also we hear, Lord Ganesha also we hear. Like that we were also hearing. But when we started hearing the same stories from Prabhupada's lotus mouth, what happened? Deha dharmaha nashtaha. All our attraction for eating, sleeping, mating, defending vanished. And we became attached to chanting and reading Prabhupada's books. And outside people, they cannot relate with this. What has gone wrong with this fellow? They are not able to understand. And that becomes so intoxicating for us that the outside people, we cannot relate with them anymore. What is this running after every day, this money, position? One day you are all going to die. When we see people running in the street, taking the cars and bikes, and early morning they are rushing to their offices. When we look at that, what runs in our mind? Crazy people, what are they doing? What are they running for? Finally, one day to die? This is what runs in our mind. So for us, we are cut off from their reality. Just like a drunkard, he becomes cut off from the reality of the rest of the world. Like that, we have become cut off from the rest of the world. And for us, what satisfies us is only chanting Hare Krishna mantra and reading Prabhupada's books. And if we simply keep doing this, then what happens? Like Bharat Maharaj, we will also be able to taste the nectar of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, and Piyusha, Sidhu, we will be able to relish that nectar, and by that, Niryapita Deha Dharmaha, all our forces of the body, demands of the body for eating, sleeping, mating and defending, these will disappear, and we will become eligible to go back to Godhead on the path which Garuda took, not some mosquito took. So that's what Prabhupada is offering us. So all that we have to do is simply stick to Prabhupada's books and his instructions, and our life will become as glorious as Bharat Maharaj and Garuda. No matter whatever achievement you do in this material world, in the field of eating, sleeping, mating and defending, that is no more than the achievement of a mosquito or a housefly. So we should try to achieve what makes us as glorious as Garuda and Bharat Maharaj. And therefore, we should develop our attachment for hearing the nectar of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita every day, and aim to go back to Godhead. So I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు ఆధ్యాత్మిక నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం.